This episode is brought to you in part by iArt Reborn. Visit iArtReborn.com for all your Reborn doll kits and supply needs.
Hey everyone, I'm Lizbeth Devlin from the Reborn Artist Studio.
And I'm Emily Elliott from eBorns.
And welcome to another edition of Reborn Rap. Emily!
Yeah, welcome guys. Hi!
So good to see you.
I know, you too. I'm so excited about today.
I'm nervous and nervously excited about Joanna K being on the show today.
I know. Before we get into that though, what have you been up to? I feel like we haven't talked since our last episode.
Yeah,
we haven't been talking much.
No, we haven't actually. We've both been really busy. Well, you've been super busy. So I built my own website. I built my website a while ago. I'm so proud of my website because I don't care what anybody says about it. I think it's phenomenal because I built it by myself, template after template. I'm so proud that I actually finally got my clothing, or almost got my clothing on the website. So my Macillusion clothing is now going to be available on my website, so easier for people to purchase. I just love that clothing. Oh my God, it looks so good on the babies.
I know. I love it. I have so much of it. I send it home in all my box openings.
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
my
gorgeous.
Biggest shopper. You're my biggest shopper.
I know.
But if you're looking...
Great that you finally have it on the website, though.
It's about time.
It took you long enough.
So if you're looking for a special outfit for Christmas or for a special occasion, I don't have a lot left. I have a big order coming in April of next year. But when you buy direct from the wholesaler, you have to buy 6 months in advance. So I've already bought the spring collection. So I just have a couple of little items left in the winter collection. So if you're looking for something, visit my website at the RebornArtistStudio.com. What about you, Emily? What have you been up to?
Well, I just finished my BC series actually earlier this morning, and I'm getting ready to start my Gemini series tomorrow.
Oh, I'm dying to see how that Gemini goes. I have heard a lot of good things about it. Well, actually, I've heard a lot of good things about it from you. I've heard you be like, oh, this is good.
I really like it.
And BC paints too. BC, I hear a lot of good things about the BC paints as well too. And it's exciting that we actually, as heat set artists, that there's, other paints out there available to us.
Yeah, now there's like so many options. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, we depend on you. And if I have a question, I always call my guru. Emily, what do I do with this? What paint should I use? What should I add to this paint? Yeah, I love it. Great. So I guess we should jump into the interview because I can see that Joanna is in the green room. So let's give her a big warm welcome.
Absolutely.
Are you going to pronounce her name?
We're going to ask. I'm not going to pronounce it. We are going to ask her how to pronounce it.
Okay. We're just going to stick to Joanna K for now and then let Joanna tell us how to pronounce it.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Here is the interview with Joanna K. Welcome, Joanna. It is so nice to have you on the show. We've been so excited to interview you.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you.
Hi, welcome.
So the first thing we want to ask you is, because there's a bit of a debate going here, back and forth, how do you pronounce your last name?
My name is Joanna Kazmierczak, and now because my husband is Kazmierczak-Pietka.
Okay, perfect.
That's how I pronounce it, and in my Polish language, it'll be Kazmierczak. It'll be more like softer, but we've got those different letters than English alphabet, so it's a little bit different. But for me, Joanna K, that's fine. I don't mind.
I'm so happy I could start saying it right. I've always said it in my videos. I'm like Joanna Kazmierczak, and I know that's not right.
No, that's
so good. I'm like, yes. Straight from the source.
Well, I'm glad you're okay with Joanna K. That makes us all happy.
Yeah. It's difficult for people to pronounce it, so as I said, it's fine. The Joanna K, it's stuck, over the years, and that's fine.
Okay, great. And we're in the US right now, and Joanna is in Poland. So thank you so much for joining us, because I know it's a bit of a
thank you for having me.
Time difference. Yeah. And I guess we're just going to jump right in, because I know one of the questions that a lot of viewers were asking was, how did you start? How did you get into reborning?
It was actually, it was like accident almost, because I was back in the day I was living in England. Like I was on maternity leave. Actually, I had my youngest son, so I was at home, and because I was always very, very like productive and creative person, and I can't be bored. Boredom is something which I can't do. I was looking for a baby doll on eBay as a gift to one of my friend's daughter. I was searching on eBay, and then this little search bar, like down there, it was Reborn Baby doll. My English wasn't back then; it wasn't perfect, but I knew Reborn, what it means. So I click on it. And I was stunned because all those pictures of I thought like real babies appeared. And I was like, oh my God, what's that? Like people selling babies? Or what? So it was very intriguing for me. Right. And then I started reading about it. I started reading like what sort of doll are those? What sort of materials are made of? Why they are created? For what sort of customers they're created for? So it was kind of, like, as I said, intriguing, interesting, and something pulled me in thinking, I could actually create that. I was sitting at home having a little boy, and I bought myself, I think back then it was the cheapest possible doll kit. It was actually factory made. It wasn't even sculpted by any artist. It was like factory made doll. And I bought a paints, which I did the research before, what sort of paints. It was the Genesis heat set paints. And I reborn my first doll. It was not nice. I enjoyed doing it. It was bring me so much like peace in mind, and it was so calming, and just adding those little veins and adding those little blotched skin. My brain saw this differently than my eyes in the beginning. Yeah. Right. So yeah. I finished one, then I purchased I think it was Linda Murray, one of the Andy. It was because back then Linda Murray, I loved her work so much, and I create few more reborn doll kits, and I signed up to Doll Fan. That was the biggest forum back then. Then some Facebook groups. And I did, I take pictures. I share my doll with the other ladies, other collectors. Then someone messaged me asking if this doll is for sale. I didn't know, I couldn't believe someone would like my work. So, and that's how I start to getting connections and friendships out of it. On one of those groups, I discovered there's one of the biggest doll show in United Kingdom. It was Peterborough. Okay. Peterborough Doll Show. It's still there. It's still every year they organize a great show there. So I said I have to go because I need to see those dolls in reality, because I never saw one in reality. So I went there, and I was so surprised how big it was. How many exhibitors, how many artists, how many collectors. It was packed, and everyone was so nice and sharing. And what I liked, there was the people, they had fun with it. It wasn't nothing serious. They were very chilled about creating those, about selling those. It was like that was my impression, very positive impression, And I remember I met Linda Murray. She was like, I already knew because I followed some of the artists back then. And she was like one of my favorites. So I start chatting with her. I even show her the dolls I create of her sculptures, Reborns. And I said to her, sometimes I like the eye expression, but I don't think it match face or mouth, or it's something. And she told me if I see that, I should sculpt, because future is in sculpting. She told me to do it. So me being me, at the same doll show, I purchased my first bar of clay. And when I go back home, I start thinking, kneading the clay, and I didn't have any tools. I have like pin needles and some little knives, some like forks, whatever I could find which was useful, toothpicks and stuff. And I created my first like little miniature clay, one of a kind. It was awful, but I was so proud of myself. It didn't look like a human, it didn't look like a baby, but I was pleased with myself, and I was hooked. I knew this is something I want to do. It's bring me so much joy to creating, to create something from bar of clay. It's just this feeling. I don't know how hard for me to explain it, but it's just the creation process which drive me quite nicely. And I start sharing my work on those groups, and I start posting pictures of the little babies I created, and people seems to like it. So that's how it started.
Yeah. What was the first sculpt that you ever had turned into a vinyl kit?
Oh, the person who I would say discovered me, it was Bobbi Barfoot. Yeah. From Truborns.
Yeah,
actually,
she's lovely.
I started sculpting a little dolls, and then later big dolls, and then silicone came across. But she was the first person who noticed me. Actually, when I went to her show this year, we talked about it, and I said, Bobbi, don't you, like, I would never forget that you were the first person who actually showed me the way, and she produced a few of my kits. My first kit, vinyl kit, it was Graham. Okay. Now looking back at it, well, I would change a lot. Let me say that. I would change a lot. It looks like an old man.
I don't know. I think babies sometimes look like old men when they're born anyway.
They do sometimes.
Yes, but it could be in a nice way, but could be in the like old man. So that was Graham. With Truborn, I actually I create as well Nixon, another doll kit, and I think one more, Francine. I think I create free doll kits with Truborn, and then Matilda I presented or produced by myself.
Oh,
I love Matilda.
Matilda's gorgeous, yeah.
Matilda got cute face, but her limbs were awful. Well, I'm very like if you know me, but I'm very very critical about my work. I'm never fully satisfied, and I always try to improve. I like to listen. I know it sounds wrong, but I do appreciate criticism. If the criticism is constructive, for example, if someone say, oh, look, Joanna, I like this baby of yours, or like, I don't like this part of the baby because it looks odd, or it doesn't look, the face expression isn't right, or the eyes are set too deep, or if this is something, I would really appreciate it. So that's how it is. So Bobbi was the first person who actually discovered me, and she helped me to get on the map for people to see my work.
When I discovered Reborns, the first kit I ever saw painted was April. And I did the same thing. I was like, oh my God, that's not a doll. That can't possibly be a doll. And that's what hooked me, April. And actually I started Reborning. I missed April. I wasn't able to purchase April. I did actually end up getting one in the secondary market. But Lulu came out when I started to paint as well. And I was just obsessed. Actually, I'm still obsessed with Lulu.
Thank you. I always think with the sculpting is very tricky, because I always say we put emotions in. I know it sound corny, but we do. And when I sculpt the baby, obviously our eyes sometimes deceive us. So sculptors use like mirror, for example. I use at my sculpture in the mirror because it's showing me if the face is not lopsided, or if the eye is not uneven. So, but it's just like we are unsymmetrical ourselves. So I think if it's more very static sculpture where everything it looks very dolly. So I like create some sort of expression, but I have to say it's because there's thousands of dolls, beautiful dolls by amazing sculptors. Now it's extremely difficult to create something extra, you know what I mean? Because
truly unique.
Pay attention for it. So doll have to be realistic, it have to be cute, it can't be boring, because if you say like sleeping baby, there are so many sleeping babies, it's unreal. So it's actually very, very difficult. And my biggest fear is to repeat the face. I can look at the sculpture, I don't have to see the name, I will say who sculpted it.
Yeah.
If I see Laura's work, I will say, oh, that's Laura's new baby. If I see Bonnie or Elisa Marks, or we can recognize each other's work. So, but still, we want the work to be different, to be something special, different. As there's so many babies in the world, so many inspiration. So it's trying always push ourselves, and I think I speak for all of the artists because I think we are very similar in the creation process. We want to create something,
that's really
to grab our hearts. As I said, when I sculpting, I always looking for this moment. When I see the face, I will be just sculpting and I putting back, putting down, coming back in few hours or next day, look at the face. To this moment, I was like, oh, I do like you. So there is some sort of emotions, Sometimes it's, I think I've got with every single sculpture of mine that when it's produced, few weeks later, I looking at this and I said like, I should change that, or I should improve. Like this is not right, or I could do this better. Even of the ears or those little details.
Right.
I would be. Oh, I could do this better. Or like, why did I not think of that? Or what I was thinking, creating that. So it's still some sort of frustration. In the creation process, but then I setting the goals to create better baby next time.
I never thought about that actually. That's interesting that you're talking about, having your particular style. So you try not to make the babies look identical. That would be extremely difficult. And then of course you're also not wanting to make sure that I didn't copy somebody else's work by accident, so that's really interesting. That is a bit of a challenge.
But for example, when I create silicone edition, any of my silicone babies, I always set the same colors like for the painting. I have some palettes of colors which I use on every single baby, but they do look different. So it depends on the day. Sometimes we have like heavy hand with the one color, the translucent color, so they see through each other. Sometimes, the babies are more pinkish, sometimes more yellowish tones. So even if we create the same base of the colors, we can't create the baby number 1 and then in silicone edition, and customer for the baby number 6 are like, can you please create her like baby number 1? And so like, I will try, but it's impossible.
So one thing that we're really interested in is the production process. Like when you finish your clay sculpt, what happens from clay sculpt to us actually purchasing that kit from you or one of the dealers?
As you know, I produce 2 types of dolls, silicone dolls, which are completely made by us, by me and my husband, because my husband is he works on molding and pouring silicone. But we're gonna talk about vinyl. So with vinyl is when I finish the sculpture, I mostly always to post the pictures because I want to see the people reaction, how the sculpture will be received, if it's popular, kind of like checking the market or checking the way people will react to the baby. So if I see positive feedback, I would contact the factory and we will arrange the shipping. And then I ship the sculpture after like 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Factory will provide me with the pictures of wax mold because they mold the sculpture and create a copy in wax. Okay. It's mostly green wax, and they send me pictures to my email, very detailed pictures of a copy for me to approve. And as the factory try to make those pictures best possible, obviously if you have something in your hand, you can see, because pictures are 2D and sculpture is 3D. So it happens that I would agree on the sculpture, on the wax mold, but then in vinyl, I could see when I have the actual kit in my hand, I would see something. I said, that could be done better. But obviously, this is out of our hands, so we have to just roll with it. And when I send the email approving the wax, the production start creating the metal mold. I believe they are copper molds. This is like, I don't know the whole process, how they're doing. I think there's some chemical reaction to create copper molds. And then when the molds are completed, they pour vinyl. First, depends on the artist. I require 6, sometimes 7 samples, which are like prototypes. And ask the factory to send it to me as soon as they create them. And then I can see actually the prototypes. When they say, I can see in the vinyl. Vinyl is very tricky, and I prefer silicone over vinyl just because vinyl shrink quite a lot. It's if you see the original sculpture and the vinyl, vinyl copy of it, it's not the same. The details are quite, not most details, but a lot of details are lost. The shrinkage is not even. It's not like, for example, head will shrink evenly whole. Sometimes back of the head shrinks better than the front of the face, for example. The same with the hands. Sometimes fingers shrink less than, for example, arm. So for us,
I didn't know that.
No.
So that's why it's a little bit tricky. And I say sometimes we might be more happy with our work, sometimes not as much. That's why for me, I prefer silicone, because silicone, it's a exact reproduction. It's silicone capture every single line. It doesn't shrink, and it's copy, but exact copy. Okay. You know what I mean? And with the vinyl, it's some dolls that, for example, in my case, some dolls, they look very, very good in very good. Now I'm just myself. Some of my dolls, they look okay in as a sculpture, as a polymer sculpture, and in vinyl, I'm not always like fully satisfied. But as I said, we have to accept what it is, and if we can't do anything about it, so it's just
Does that kind of explain why a lot of the time the counterfeits are smaller?
Of course.
Than the originals.
That's exactly.
Okay, because they shrink.
Exactly.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Because that's why I think it's very important to understand this, that counterfeit, so they are smaller because they are produced of the kit. So the people who produce those fake kits, what they're doing, they just purchase one original kit and they mold it the same way as we mold the sculpture, that's why for me it's so ridiculous when some people who are using those fake kits explaining themselves saying, it's not your work, it's inspired by.
Oh,
It's not
I
inspired.
know.
It's totally
No.
copy. It's my kit they use
exactly.
to produce the fakes.
Yeah.
And those, because of the shrinkage, those kits are smaller, and sometimes the shapes of the face are totally wrong because, as I said, it doesn't shrink all perfectly.
Right.
It shrinks unevenly, so it can distort the features.
Right.
And it's
That's
for
fair.
me, I can actually recognize pretty easily if someone have like fake Lulu or fake any of the sculptures of mine. I can recognize that straight away because see, for example, Lulu got very small back of the head and bigger face. It looks grotesque, you know. It doesn't look properly. So that's it. And then when I receive the prototypes, I'm mostly in touch with the prototype artists of my choice, which I like. I'm always asked why I'm choosing the same bunch of artists, and you know, it's because I love their work. I think they represent my sculpture in best possible way. I like, because, you know, prototype artist is a very serious job, because we as sculptors, we rely on those artists to sell our editions.
Exactly.
So, you know, many times I'm often asked, when can I do the prototype? And I said, you need to show me your work, and I will see if your work will complement mine.
Good.
Yeah,
it's very important. And then, you know, the obviously prototype artists are very, very busy because they're approached by many sculptors, but the time frame is very important. We rely on this. We like our sculptor. We can show our sculpt, but people, many collectors, they want to see finished baby, right?
Exactly.
Before they purchase the kit, because they can't imagine how it looks in certain colors or with hair. Not many people can see the sculpture, just the feature, to be enough. So that's why we're using the prototype artists. But then, backing to I'm jumping. I'm so
it's funny. We were actually going to ask you that exact question, like how you choose prototype artists, like what you're looking for in prototype artists. So that kind of went right in perfect.
It's just okay. This is my personal preferences.
Yeah.
And they professionalism, because, you know, we always have the agreement. Okay. I know it might something happened, but then we have agreement. I'm gonna send you the prototype. The deadline is to then. If you agree, you know, I know those artists will take beautiful pictures. They know the angles, good quality for the advertisement, for the dealers to use their pictures for their advertisement. So it's actually kind of serious task to do. And I know it's very flattering if someone is prototype artist, and but it's very serious commitment. And I'm always open-minded for new artists who wants to show themselves. And I always choose for prototypes almost with every edition someone new.
Okay. Great.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
someone new, and see how it cooperates and how it works. So that's how I choose my prototype artists.
Yeah, and we just want to let you know that Emily and I are really reliable.
Yeah. You know, we actually did your iris together. She just came out so gorgeous. I loved her so much.
I'm always happy for artists to send me their work. I always like to see the version of my sculpture very much. It always brings me people work and they tag me in their work. I love to see that.
Interesting.
I'm benefiting from seeing my work presented by others. I'm always happy to see.
Yeah, and you are actually very active on Facebook normally, because I know I've tagged you a couple of times and you've made comments about my work. And I mean, I don't know if you know what that does for an artist when you make a comment.
We are the same, because for me, it's the same. I never I never take anything for granted. And as I said, I feel so appreciated and so accepted. And this is bring me so much joy and motivates me and pushing me for better work.
Speaking about your babies, like one of the things I absolutely love about your work, Joanna, is that you create limited editions. And for anybody watching, a limited edition, you might release maybe about, well, in vinyl, maybe around about $3,000. And what that does for the artist, it allows the artist to create a doll that becomes a rare piece of art. So when I list that doll for sale, I can get a little bit more money for it. When a collector purchases the doll, that doll holds its value. And I love that about you, because once you release a limited edition, that's it. When those kits are sold out, they are sold out. And it just adds so much more value to our work. And I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm limiting my edition because for the collectors, they have a unique piece which not going to be mass produced. They will be just certain number, and they know there's going to be certain number. For the artists, reborn artists, they know if they purchase the kit, and they have better chances to selling the kit than, with the open edition. Obviously, every side got their own arguments, and but this is mine and it works for me. And I think, sometimes I hear people saying like, but you know what, I have no chance to buy your doll because it's sold out, and I never had the chance to purchase it. And I always say like, that's why I keep pre-orders for a few days. So we can reserve it. I always have few doll kits of my doll kits with myself. So even if it's sold out, if you message me, I will try to find it for you if you like. I'm trying to not upset anyone. And if someone wants doll kit, I think they have fair chance to get it.
Yes, I do.
But yet, for me, once edition out, one edition sold, it's closed.
I was devastated when I saw that they copied your Lulu Awake that you were going to make. It was so awful.
Yeah. It upset me quite a lot, but sometimes it was hard for me to decide to not produce Lulu Awake, because the one they produced it was horrible. It was they making the eye such a wrong way, because they made the eye in wrong position, there was different level. It makes they look not cute. It wasn't cute. It was hard for me to make this decision, because I know many people who have Lulu, they want Awake sister for Lulu. But I thought it was a right decision back then, and I stick to it. As I said, it's just sometimes the artist got this kind of day which will create something. And I know Lulu, it's one of my dolls which capture a lot of hearts, and I've been very, very happy. People say, "Oh, my favorite is Lulu," and my favorite is Lulu. And as a creator, I love all my children equally. But I know Lulu actually make some sort of name for me.
So, Joanna, you do a lot in silicone. Do you want to talk a little bit about your silicone work?
Yes. As I said, my preferences are for silicone, just because I have more control over it. And it's actually capture all the likeness. It doesn't shrink material. It's more flexible, and it's definitely more real. The feel of the silicone. I know not everyone likes it, but we develop our own blend, which is less jiggly. It's less rubbery. It's more marshmallowy, but just soft, but not as. It's hard to explain it, but I like it. It's our own blend, and I think it's keep the colors quite nice. So we're using, and as I said, all the reproduction of the sculpture in silicone are having much likeness. I like the silicone edition to be very small as well, And obviously, because in silicone we are able to create the full body effect. So the doll doesn't have the connector like body connector. The softness of it is more like we're using the materials, the same materials as are used for the movies in special effects. So they are quite durable and they're very lifelike, and that's what we're trying to capture, the liveness. It's a very similar process. The production is very similar because what I'm doing, I'm finishing the sculpture and then I hand it the sculpture when it's finished. I'm happy with it. It's handed to my husband, and he's my partner, life partner and crime partner. How's it say? What he's doing, he's creating the mold out of it, which makes hours of layering silicone over silicone over silicone to create a glove-like, mold, which have to have proper thickness. Right. Then the next step is to create a shell mold, which is a hard part which keep the rubber in shape. Otherwise, silicone got a weight to it. So if it's like rubber glove and we pour water in it, it will expand. Okay. So that's why we need the shell to keep it in shape.
Oh, interesting.
And
right.
when this process is finished, then I'm this person who will motivate him. It's like, you're doing great, honey, you're doing great. It's a very, very hard job to remove the sculpture out of the mold. And mostly the sculpture doesn't survive because he need to remove from the mold piece by piece, so he breaking the sculpture. It's very, very stressful part because sometimes I work on the sculpture for weeks and then we mold it, but if something happened in this situation, we're losing the sculpture and we're losing the mold.
That's crazy.
So that's the only thing is, so as I said, my husband, because he's stronger, he can deal with it and he's way calmer than I am. I'm like, getting frustrated if something's stuck or, something doesn't go my way. I'm just getting the nerves getting better of me, and my husband is very, very calm, so he knows how to do it. He's like, calm down, I will do it, and taking piece by piece slowly. And then same, his part of the job is casting as well, right. Because silicone is quite vicious material, so it's hard to mix and hard to do to pour. It's heavy, so this is his job, and he's but I have full trust in him because we cooperate for over so many years. So he knows I'm very demanding in this, and I will not get any. But I have trust in him. Actually, at the show, I was speaking one of the artists who does the silicone work as well, and she said, like, I wouldn't trust anyone. I have to do it myself. And I was like, no, because he knows me, and he knows he can't mess it up. So, this is joke. I have this weird sense of humor when I'm like a little bit nervous. I will say silly things, but other than that, and when he prepare the mold, it have to be sprayed or pour the release agent, which prevent silicone, which is poured into to fuse with the silicone. Mold silicone. So it's first he flushed the mold with the silicone releasing agent, and then he premixed our silicones. He poured them into the mold. Next day he demolded. It's the first baby doll is created, and then it's artist proof, and then I painted, I finishing, and then I show. But I have to be honest with you. Most of the times when I'm showing the artist proof, the edition is already reserved or sold out. Right. Because because I keep my edition quite small, and I'm quite loyal with my customers. It's often when the customer or the collector see the baby face, or even in the sculptor. That's what makes me the biggest joy in the trust they're giving me, how they trust me with it, because sometimes they just see just the feature of the face, not even the rest of the body, not even the arms, and they already ask me if they can be on the list for this particular baby, which I said, like, but you didn't see the baby. Don't you want to wait to see how she's gonna look, or how he's gonna look completed? And he said, no, I want her. I know I want her. So it's for me, it's very flattering, and it's as I said, motivates me to do even better, and appreciate, because if you're getting this kind of energy from people, you want to put your heart in to give it back. For me, if the collector mommy, whatever we gonna call ladies who collect dolls, if they get one of my doll and they say, oh, you bring me joy, and oh, I adore her, and it's unbelievable feelings, because I know it's maybe sounds corny, but it makes our work worth something. It's worth it's something which actually it's I don't think people out of our community, or are out of people who doesn't have passion, can ever understand the feeling. If we bring someone joy, or if we make someone smile, or feel better.
When
it's coming back to us.
Exactly. When I finish a doll and it's going home, and I'm dressing it, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm dressing it for the last time, and I'm holding it like a baby. I can honestly tell you, I almost get teary, because I and I think about that person that I've had this communication with, and we've talked about the hair or what they're looking for, and they've told me a little bit about themselves, and I put that doll in that box. And I know that the next time that doll's going to be seen, how that person's going to feel. I want that to be the best experience they could possibly have. And so you're right. You put your heart and soul into that, because you want them to have that moment that you were talking about earlier. But I know I've got goosebumps too speaking about it.
For us, it's not only validation if our work is good, but as I said, we don't do it just because of the business.
Exactly.
I think it's we expressing ourselves, creating those realistic dolls, putting the life in them. It's a little bit more. You know what? I always, when people are not dolly related, or not in our community, we speak about it, and they like genuinely curious about how it is. And I said, you know what? I explain them this way, that some people have got some sort of music which will touch them. They're like they felt soft. Listen to the music, they get teary. Some people love, for example, movies. The movie moves them some way. They cry on the movie. For example, the song for you, the music for you might not be for me.
Right.
The song which touch you might be not for me, and the same with the people of doll collectors. It's not for everyone, but for those bunch of people, for those group, dolls, they do something for them. This is why I'm calling it art, because art supposed to bring emotions. Yet touch the strings in our heart. Excuse me, it doesn't have to be like, not every emotion. Sometimes I said, in my personal, I'm lucky, because I never been surrounded by people who would be like, oh no. I'm lucky with the people in my life, because they are quite positive. But in my family, my children, they're not into dolls. They helping, they do stuff. They're not bothered by dolls. But this is not. I try to push my daughter, because I've got the oldest of mine is my daughter Patricia, And I tried to get her into dolls, but she was more bikes and this kind of things than dolls. So no, but my granddaughter,
Oh, good.
Frankie May, she's all into dolls. And sadly, she lives in, not sadly, but we live in Poland. My daughter and her daughter, my granddaughter, they live in England.
Oh.
So we see each other like twice a year. Obviously, we talk every day on FaceTime, but they visit us like twice a year. And Frankie is the only, she plays with dolls. She wants to sculpt. She paints with me. Frankie does. She's 7, and she does everything. And oh, I need to tell you the story. So she came last winter for the Christmas. They came for Christmas, and Frankie's favorite doll is Pascal, but Silicon Pascal. And she always play with her. She call her Claire, and she always play with her. She play with everybody. This one is favorite of her. Right. And the other day she sat with me and she's like, Jojo. Oh, because she doesn't call me nanny or nan or grandma. She doesn't call me, she's not allowed. Joking. But she called me Jojo. And she said, Jojo, will you give me one of your dolls for free? And I, serious said like, I don't know, I need to think about it, but like, which one would you like? And she said like, I would like Claire. And obviously, I said, like, let me sleep on it. Of course, I let her have her. So she have her in her suitcase. And on the way back home, my daughter called me and she said, oh my God, I'm going to kill you. All flight to England. She was well, Claire going to sleep. We need to go and buy her some cot or some basket. She have no clothes. She have no dummy. We need to breathe. So straight from the airport, they went to some local market to buy the basket for sleeping. And then Frankie she needs to go to the doll show now. For her birthday, she wished to have a pram for her baby. And then she said, like, I'm coming to visit you, Jojo, but I will not bring the Claire with me. And I said, like, why is that? And she's like, because I need a place in my suitcase for the next baby. And I said, like, what do you mean for next baby? And she said to me, Jojo, I'm serious collector. 7 years old.
I love a serious collector that doesn't spend any money on collecting.
No, I know. She just bought for free. She already ordered. She got her favorites, and every single doll I've got, or I receive, or I purchase, she's like, first question of hers is she heavy? Because Frankie's little girl, so she can't handle heavy dolls.
Oh, that's so funny.
Heavy?
You need to make a Frankie kit.
I did actually. One of my, it was silicone. I sculpted. I sculpted Frankie based on her picture because she was chubster when she was born. She was nearly 10 pounds.
Oh my gosh, your poor daughter.
That's what I was going to say.
It was actually like her labor was quite not traumatic, but she was cesarean section because not only she was a big baby, but she was turned.
Oh gosh! Your poor daughter.
She had to be cut to Frankie, but Frankie, big healthy girl, and I did actually sculpt 2 versions of Frankie. One was Frankie edition Frankie, and second was Phoebe. But both of them were silicone dolls. As I said, my preference is going to silicone dolls because it's truer to the sculpture.
So you are so successful, and I imagine that you're incredibly busy. Is there anything that you do to kind of relax, unwind, get away from babies?
Yeah, actually, maybe it's some sort of to do with my personality, but I can't be bored. I can't. It's just for me. I have this. If I do nothing, I feel like I'm wasting time, and I'm already in the age when days getting shorter and years go by so quickly. So for me, I don't like this feeling when I don't do nothing. And I'm quite active. I'm a sporty active. I'm very girly. So obviously fashion and you know, cosmetics and dates with my girlfriends. So like family, of course, is the number one. When everything, we are very involved. We like to spend time together. We like to family holidays together. And now I've got this with the work, because obviously I'm very busy with work, and unfortunately I feel very, very bad about it. But I'm not able physically to answer the messages by myself. And I know often I've got when I meet customers or people from our community, you know, they never upset with me, but I say, oh, I wrote you some time ago but you didn't reply and stuff, and I feel bad about it. But I think people do understand that it's physically impossible for me. I've got just social media, just Facebook and Instagram, and then I've got TikTok from not long ago. But if I'm honest with you, it's so many messages for all those platforms. It's impossible for me to answer it. I ask my children help sometimes. If you're gonna get like vague message which is gonna be very short sounded and not like me, it's probably my son. I asked him if he could do it when he's free time to answer some messages. And he said, yeah, sure, Mom, I can do it. And then I look in at the message. For example, a lady asked, hi, Joanna, would you be producing, for example, Luna in vinyl? And his answer to that was, nope.
No time to waste.
He sat next to me and said, Mom, will you produce Luna into vinyl? I said, no, I won't. And he said, nope. And I said, Casper, you can't answer like this.
I love it. Sounds like something my boys would
do.
Yeah.
Do it myself, but it's impossible for me. So I do have a lot of not even free time, but I do trying to get, for example, weekends. I'm trying not to stay work. Lately, as I said, I do some painting. It's something many people think when you're a sculptor, you have to be brilliant painter. And I do always love to see paintings. I like to go to galleries. I know it sounds corny, but it does. When I go to the galleries and I watch the beautiful paintings, I'm not a big fan of this new art. The abstract. I like old things. I like old paints, romantic, where you can actually see for example, if I see the painting when the ladies got pearls, and pearls are so difficult to paint. I finding the reflection of the lights and always intrigue me and always interest me. And sometimes ago, I asked my husband, I would love to paint. And I'm lucky with my husband because he always support me. You know, he's never like, oh, but why, Albo? You can't do. Why would you like to do it? Or it's not a waste of time. He's this kind of person who would be. He will next day. I will have canvas and paints delivered. It's a completely different medium. So I have to make myself think about it more, about shadows, about light, about warm tones, about cool tones, right. About the dimension. It's because it's flat. I don't think about myself as a talented person. I always think everyone got talents. Sometimes we have this fear of failure. If we fear that I'm not good at it, or maybe it won't be good, we never start, and we failed from the beginning. So, as I said, I'm enjoying painting now. It's relaxing, and I'm learning because the picture painting or it's teach me colors as well, blending colors, different tones, which I can accumulate with the dolls later.
I have seen probably thousands of fake pages, and I know a lot of people fall for those scams. So where exactly are your legitimate profiles that people can find you and know that they're actually talking to you?
Yeah, it's very upsetting for me, and it's sad because, I spent hours of how you call it, reporting those pages. Every day I'm getting message, someone sent me a page which impersonating me. It's stealing my name and my pictures and trying to scam people of it. And that's why I verified my page. My Facebook is the only Facebook which was verified. The same with my Instagram page. So if you see any other page trying to offer those, I even posted pinned to my pages I pinned it this like guide or a warning for people what to do, how to do not. I will never message someone directly and say, "Oh, do you want to buy my doll?" If I have something, I will post it on my social media. I will post it on my Facebook. I will say this is the doll which is available. I would never contact anyone directly. I would never pay any payment via some cash app, some insecure pages. I would never I always, I'm a business owner, and I need to. I have tax on every single invoice I've got. So for me, if someone pay. I've got sad stories when the ladies message me saying like, Joanna, I got scammed. I paid a few $100s to different accounts and stuff. It's like, oh my God, how? I said like, always report to the police, contact your bank, try to stop those transactions because it wasn't me. And it's sad, but it's not something I can do. I think now 3 or 4 websites impersonate.
Yeah, I did see.
So it's just horrible. But there is, as I said, I don't want to excuse myself that I'm not doing enough. But I don't want to get blamed for not doing because it's just something Facebook doesn't care. I'm paying for my blue check.
Right.
Just for everyone to have the information that this is legit.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound rude now, but sometimes I'm just amazed how naive people are. I feel bad. I feel sorry for everyone who gets scammed, but people should be more responsible.
Absolutely.
And, it's heartbreaking for me when I'm getting blamed.
You're right, because there needs to be some accountability. I think there's enough information out there for people to understand that this industry is affected by scammers hugely. Do your research, do your homework.
And it's very accessible because, there's so many groups, if you are interested, if you're new and you're interested, we are not living under the rock now. We do have access for internet. Why can't you Google it? Why can't you do some research?
Yeah.
And explanation like, I don't have my phone now. Everyone got the phone now. Everyone got.
Yeah.
If I can take your money, I can take a picture. I have maybe different kind of way of doing the business. With the limited edition, with the customer service, I know my customer service is bad because it's very hard what I hear the most is that people having problem because they have, over the years, they can't ever get on the list for the baby dolls. Like it's for them, it's frustrating because they trying wherever opening edition, they trying to purchase, but it's mostly like it's selling out so quickly that they don't have much chance for it. I always say, if you are interested, as soon as you see the sculpture, you already message me because it might be, I might, I'm not promising anything, but I might put you in some sort of like reservation list. And then I'm trying to be fair as possible. So I will not expect you to purchase the baby until you see the baby completed. But if you're interested what you see already, I can put you on the reservation list. I will not take any deposit or anything. But when you see the completed baby, then you can tell me, okay, I want to go through with the purchase, or you know what, not this time. So I'm trying to be fair as possible, but just try to message me, contact me. If I don't respond to yours, just follow me. and you send me a message, I don't respond. If you post it on my walls, I message you, or you just in the comments I post something in the comments, Joanna, I messaged you. I will see that because I can see the comments. I can see the posts.
So, Joanna, what do you have in store? What's coming? What can we look forward to seeing?
At the moment, because I had such a long break, I didn't sculpt anything new for the vinyl. So probably I will start sculpting mid December, because this is the time when I already plan how my work. I will start sculpting. So probably the next vinyl kit is going to be about summer 2025. I would love to hear what people are expecting, or what collectors, what artists love the most now, because the trendings are changing in our industry as well. You know, chubby baby, skinny baby, big baby, little baby, toddlers. So I think, you know, it's for me, it's always nice to hear the preferences. And obviously, I love to getting pictures of the babies for the reference, or you know, as inspiration. That's for me always fun. As for silicone, I'm currently almost there, because the molding process is finished and it's successful, thanks God. But I was happy to probably tomorrow the first baby rally will be poured. Fingers crossed. Because this baby is quite special for me, as I created her just after I come back from United States, after rally doll Expo, doll of the World Expo. So I come back from there, and the energy and the love I receive somehow influence me and just motivates me to create baby, which I called Rally. I think it's a really brilliant name. So she's going to be full body silicone, and this probably I will open edition around mid of December, maybe sooner.
Wow. How exciting! That's wonderful. And we actually have some viewer questions, if you're up for some viewer questions.
So Allison DeVoe wants to know, with all the vinyl issues lately, what do you do to help make sure your kits are produced as issue-free as possible?
This is something which we address with the factories as well. Unfortunately, we have limitation, because there's not many factories. Like, for example, I produce in China, and I produce with the vinyl with Joy Dolls. This is the factory. We have I can't say anything bad about it, because our cooperation is always smooth, and
Sure.
and I don't have any issues. Like the owner of the company always, you know, everything's all fine, and I do address the change of the vinyls few times. It's inconsistent. It's sometimes there's flaws on the vinyl. Sometimes it's more shiny. It's not. I have my own kits, older ones and the new ones. The vinyl changed. It's different. We did ask why is that, and there's never like straightforward answer. So but what you mean? Send me a picture, something. Okay, we will try to. There's but I think it's just the quality of material everywhere. The same with the clothing. The same with all the. If we look at the cars, I don't know if you have the same, but I remember when my mom had the fridge, and it was 20 years old and still working, and now even kitchen appliances.
I know.
2 years. 2
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
And it's so I think we already use so much resources, and the everything's going for the for example cheaper options. Let me be clear. We're not paying cheaper for the factory doesn't give us any sculptors any cheaper options for the better quality or more expensive quality. I do notice as soon as I get a vinyl prototypes, I do discuss with the owner, with the factory, what I like, what I don't like, if they can change the color. Sometimes prototypes coming with some sort of, for example, color more peachy, more pinkish to white. So we do this because that's something I did notice. And even with the previews of my kids, so there was a lot of shine on it. And I did even... There was one dealer who had return parts, and it was like exchange, but the factory have to provide them with new parts. So it's not like they can't do anything. But I don't want to blame any some sort of like prototype artists or anything. But I do always ask prototype artists about their feedback. I do ask their feedback about what they think about vinyl and stuff. And I know that if they don't have, like, how was painting, was it painting, any issues? So I like to know those reports, and if I hear something bad that the paint didn't take or whatever, I will address that straight away. But if I know prototype artists are more advanced artists, and for them probably it's easier to paint, or even if there is some problem, they know how to handle it.
Right.
But as I said, I always looking for these flaws. I always like, that's why I'm asking probably prototype artists, if they're going to hear it, they will laugh, because I also like, as soon as I send them the kits, I always say like, so what's wrong with it? Pointed out all the flaws, because I know they work with different artists, with different sculptors, so they've got brilliant view. And they like, you know what you don't like? I'm not interested in what you like about it. Tell me what's wrong with it.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know, actually. Yeah.
Question. Okay. The next question is from Nicola Lever, Reborn Nursery, and she just wants to know if you have any tips for a brand new sculptor, like what advice you would give.
My first advice would be to have a patience with the clay, patience with themselves. It's because sometimes what we do, it's just we rushing. We rushing. As I said, try to study, look at the pictures. I always say, don't look for inspiration at other dolls. Don't look at the inspiration in dolls. Look at the inspiration on babies. Google babies' pictures for every angle. Try to draw the proportions. First the proportions, the shapes. Don't focus on details. Details is the cherry on the cake. Proportions and shapes, that's the most important. What I would think. And patience. Don't rush with it. Take pictures of your work. So look at I always take the sculpture and look in the mirror, because the mirror gives us the different view. There is like the mirror reflection, isn't it? So it's give it. So it's many tips, but patience, especially patience, because often we want to do something quickly. And don't give up. If you like it, if it bring you joy, create.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. So Charlene has some networking tip questions. She just wants to know like how you went about meeting other people in the industry when you were first getting started.
The first, I was lucky because where I was living, as I said, the first I just chat online, and I look up for the Reborn dolls. In the bar search, I put all the like art dolls, those little search, and the groups come up, and I just signed up. Back in the day, 15 years ago, there wasn't so many like now. So now we need to sieve it. We need to check which group are legit, which group are like dodgy, because there's different. And some support fake, so we don't want to get there. But and then I was lucky because from one of the group, I discovered that the doll show was held, as I said, 20 few miles from my house. So I went there and we start chatting. And as I said, many times it's just, when you start chatting online, then you discover that the person doesn't live far away from you, or so you can meet up, chat up. Now, I think because of the time of the COVID, now after lockdowns, people more appreciate doll shows. Because it was before COVID, it was a little bit quiet at the doll show. People prefer worked in the comfort of their house, because it didn't cost anything, and you can ship from the house and everything. So now I see and which makes me a lot of brings me a lot of joy that the people actually go to the shows. They want to see, they want to spend time together, socialize, share the passion. So this is how I did it.
Perfect. And then speaking
Perfect.
about doll shows, are you planning on any doll shows next year, Joanne?
I would love to. I would love to go to Dolls of the World again, because I said, and we got some brilliant experience last time, and it was awesome. We had great time. On the list of my dream is always as well going to Florida, and I would love to visit. I know the Yophi show is held there, so it would be brilliant there. Just because in Europe we've got brilliant show in Europe because it's Madrid, it's Germany, it's Netherlands, it's England. So those countries. But next, my closest plans to go to see immediate, as I said, Dolly people will be in March or May. Now I don't remember. We're going to Stockholm, but I will be on time.
Okay.
Stockholm, because I was invited there by the community in Sweden, by Dolly community in Sweden. They got small community there, but they're very passionate and lovely ladies, lovely customer, and they just pop up with the idea. If I could just come over for the Dolly talk and Dolly time, and if I have time, I'm up for it. So I spoke to my husband, and he said like, oh, let's go to Stockholm then. It's not far from us. It's just like I think 2 hours of fly. So that's fine. In Europe here we are lucky, because we can travel from country to country in very short period of time,
Yeah.
like 3 hours and 2 hours. We can drive. I can get into my car and drive through the Europe, and in probably 40, not even that, 24 hours, I can go across most of the countries.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm in Texas, and I can drive for 8 hours and still be in Texas.
I know. That's what I realized when obviously I know how huge America is, but I think when we get there, it's actually sink in how actually is. We were flying because to North Carolina, we were flying from Warsaw, from our capital, to Frankfurt, Germany, and from Germany it was 9 hours to Raleigh. It was straight fly.
Oh, wow.
And I spoke with one lady who was flying from California, and she flies the same amount of hours. we fly across the Pacific. I was like, gosh.
Yeah.
Traveling in United States is tricky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show,
thank
Joanna.
you.
It has just been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You're a bundle of fun.
Pleasure
and
of mine.
So much experience. It's just been an insight listening to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. It was so
you for
great to
having
meet
me.
you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
You too. Isn't she a gem? She's just so down to earth.
She really is. That was, I don't know, that was so amazing for me. You know that I am a huge, now I could just say Joanna K fan. And I feel like I didn't even talk at all during that interview because I was like starstruck. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, and you know what, and because she's just such a nice person and she's easy to talk to. I think now, if we interview her again, we'll be more chitty chatty because
Now
nice.
I'd be totally comfortable.
Yeah, she's super sweet. And something that I love about Joanna too is, I mean, we see all the time people talking about the industry dying. It's dying. The counterfeits are killing it.
Oh, I know.
And you and I have several conversations about this, that we're just so tired of seeing that. I mean, any industry is going to have a natural kind of attrition where you're going to have artists come and artists leave. But you listen to somebody like her, and I know she's a big name and her stuff's in, high demand, but she's still continually got in the business. She's turning people away. And I know a lot of artists, and actually you included. I mean, you are, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have custom orders booked out until the end of 2025. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And there's so many artists out there that are doing well. And I think people need to remember that when somebody posts saying that they're not selling their work, you need to ask why. Now, granted, there are some really good artists that are struggling, but a lot of the time I'll see people that post that their work's not selling, and I'll go and look at the work and I can tell immediately, well, you've got it dressed really badly. The photograph's really poor. You really need to work on your art form. And you and I talk about this a lot too, about investing in yourself. And I know people think, oh, here they are trying to sell their courses again. But every single person we've had on the show has talked about how they've continued educating themselves, and that's how they've continued to have that growth. And the other point I want, and just for stealing the microphone here, I'm sorry, but the other thing I want to point out too, that a lot of people don't realize or don't stop to think, you know, I'm doing well in this business. You're doing well in this business. Most of the people that we have a close friendship are also doing well in the business. And we don't post, oh, I'm doing great. I'm sorry to hear everybody's doing really bad. It's just frowned upon to look that way. So to talk that way. So don't get sucked into this. The business is dying. The business is failing. The business model is changing. And there's anytime there's a business model that changes, there's going to be the survivors and the people that leave the industry. I mean, it's just plain and simple.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to change. You have to adapt. You have to start broadening your business. And I think, honestly, I think that's why we're successful. I think that's why the people that we're friends with are successful, because they're similar to us. If you're doing something and it's not working, you need to be able to do something else. If, you know, there's so much competition now, and I see that a lot, you know, there's artists who I have a lot of respect for. They've maybe been reborning longer than me, a very long time. But they're not bettering themselves. They, you know, you could look at their babies from 10 years ago. They look exactly the same as their babies today. And because the competition is so fierce now, like you have to get better. If you're having trouble selling, you have to get better, because people who are getting better, they're not having trouble selling.
No,
and
not.
I think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost sometimes. Like, you know, you see people posting on Facebook a lot, nobody wants my work. Well, they're not thinking about how many collectors are seeing that. They're seeing, okay, people don't want your work. And then you post you have a baby for sale and they think, oh, no one wants that artist's work. I don't want that artist's work. Either there's something wrong with it, or maybe I'm not going to be able to resell it.
Yeah, like, exactly.
If you can't sell yourself, nobody else is going to for you.
I love it. Yeah, you're right. If you can't sell yourself, nobody else is going to buy from you. I love that too. And you're right. It's like, so now what we're seeing with a lot of these posts is you have collectors, avid collectors, who are now thinking, I'm not getting involved in this industry anymore because it's dying. I don't want to invest money on something I'm going to be stuck with. And you're right. It's just this spiral out of control. And I hate it when I see artists saying, my work's not selling, my work's not selling, my work's not selling. They're not, the question they need to be asking is, why are other artists able to sell their work and I'm not able to sell mine? And when you post a doll on Facebook, say, and this doll won't sell, and you've got 100 people going, oh, it's gorgeous, it's cute, but then I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, the eyebrows are terrible, or the hair's pluggy, or the outfit the doll's in. When you're asking people for opinion on your work, make sure it's people that you trust, people that are going to tell you the baby's too blue, the baby's too red, the people that are going to, you don't always have to follow what they're saying, but you're able to look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah. And if you're taking advice, look at who you're taking advice from. Like, take a look at their page. Are they successful? How many followers do they have? Are they posting the same baby for sale for months on end? Because if they are, they can't help you to be successful because they're not successful.
Exactly. Yeah. They're valid points, but there are buyers out there. There are collectors out there, and you only have to look at Facebook and see all the in search of posts. People are looking for a doll, And it's just, watch what you say out there. Watch, because buyers are watching your negative posts and you basically promoting my work doesn't sell.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you need to broaden your reach too. I found that really fascinating when Joanna was talking about a lot of her business and stuff has come from, people that she randomly meets or knows who have known nothing about Reborns that she just shows her work to. Mm-hmm. I think, so many of us are on Facebook. I think that it's really easy to forget that Facebook is this many Reborn collectors. There is this whole big wide world. There's other platforms. Yeah. I mean, YouTube is a huge resource to advertise yourself. Yeah. TikTok, Instagram, there's all these other places. So if you're only posting on Facebook and you're not selling, you may have exhausted your little tiny pool. You need to jump into the ocean with the rest of us.
I have someone in my rooting group and she's a newer artist and her business is booming. You want to know why her business is booming?
Because she took your rooting course, probably.
Exactly. There you go. So take my rooting course. It's the answer to all your questions. all your problems solved. She takes the dolls out to a store. She'll go out to a store and people are fascinated by these dolls. She hands out her business cards she is killing it right now. So, you've got to move with the market. You've got to absorb these changes and see what are people doing that are selling their dolls that I'm not doing, Yeah. We spoke about this before. Sometimes it can be as simple as the pictures,
Yeah, it really can be.
But hear it from us and from Joanna, the industry is not dying. The industry is simply shifting. So make sure you're shifting with it.
Absolutely.
We have a shout out to a wonderful individual. She's one of those, like the cogs in the wheel that makes the wheel go. And she doesn't get a lot of mention. So we thought we would give a shout out to our buddy, Gladys.
Hi, Gladys. Hi. I know. Look, every time I order, Gladys sends me like a really sweet little note.
Yeah, I know. I get little notes from her too. And it's wonderful. Do you know what I love about her too? It's like she knows who we are. We're not a number. We're an individual. So thank you, Gladys. You're a sweetheart.
Yeah. Thank you for all the hard work that you put into sending our flyers out with all the orders. Thank you for standing up and saying, hey, they need nicer bags. Like that was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
It was so appreciated, really.
Yeah. We love you, Gladys.
You're awesome. You work really hard. And thank you.
And she's one of our podcast fans too. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Gladys, get back to work. I really hate our giveaways. I hate that we can't participate.
I know.
I mean, who wouldn't want a kit from Joanna that's signed? How exciting is that?
I know. I want it, and I want to know what kit it is too.
Me too. And that's why we tell people like subscribe, because it's a win-win for you guys, not for us, because we don't get anything other than the hard work of putting this podcast together. But you guys get an opportunity to win all the freebies. So hit that subscribe button so we can keep doing our show for everyone.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it really does help us to continue being able to do this. And it's a free, super easy way to show your support and, encourage us a little bit.
Show your love. Love. Hit that subscribe. And then, of course, the contest will be advertised where or promoted in the usual spots. Where's that, Emily?
Okay, so to enter the giveaway, you can do it a couple of different ways. As always, you can go over to our Facebook page. We will have a giveaway post that you can find a comment on, or you can also just comment below this episode, and that will get you an entry also. And then
I know that. You got that down pat nicely.
I do. I know my little spiel. And as always, we will announce the winner on the next episode.
We sure will. And it won't be me or Emily.
I know, sadly.
Anyway, we've come to that part of the show where you and I have no coordination.
I know.
And actually, we should also say, too, that the next filming we'll be doing will be at the Yophi Doll Show.
Yes, it will be. We are super close to Yophi. We have like so many cool things planned for you guys. We're going to give you guys some little bonus stuff. We're going to do an awesome Yophi episode. We're just going to be like filming, and talking to as many people as we can there.
Yeah.
So
And
if you're at Yophi, find us.
You've got no excuse for not coming up to talk to us. And if we're not at the booth, we'll be wandering around jibber-jabbering to people. So make sure you hunt us down and say hello.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I've been practicing this in my head.
How do you practice on your own?
Oh, I don't know. Because I was trying to remember like how long you sit here with it open before you close it.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Okay,
all right,
ready?
Guys, as we always say, thank you for watching. Yeah. Be kind to each other out there. Let's see some nice comments. Have a great time. Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you, guys. See you next time. Okay.
Open. That's a
wrap.
Oh,
that was so much closer. That was pretty good.
Was it really? I thought it was really bad.
It was our best one so far. Maybe that's not saying much.